questions to ask throughout a campaign with the confidence rising. I told JC, Nate and Rich that good times are coming, no need for deep diving. Fan Cam's reactions, watch along to the pride of London thriving. The Eagles of South stay flying, keep your eyes on us, we ain't hiding.
Big up everyone, we're here for the Brentford preview. I would say a huge game tomorrow night under the lights at Sellers Park. Here with my brothers. JC, how you doing, my guy?
I'm full. I'm full up, man. I just went harvester in it, so I'm feeling good.
Do they still have the buffet salad thing going?
Yeah, you got to top up on that red devil sauce or whatever it's called, boy. If you know, you know.
What are you saying, Nate?
Boy, all good. No more tram settings, no more Charlotte Express. We're here. Let's get this Brentford preview out of the way.
Absolutely. Well, obviously, before we touch that game, let's just briefly, if we speak about the City game and stuff. I guess it's just the manner. I mean, we especially first half, what a spirited performance, defended extremely well and such. For me personally, look, City controlled the game. They controlled the game. We scored from set pieces, by the way. Now, I think we haven't actually highlighted that we actually scored from set pieces. We are normally terrible at that. But I think, I look back at it and I think Bernardo Silva's ability to get that first goal was due to the fact that Tariq Mitchell went down, I think 3 minutes earlier, and he struggled to get out to him and stuff, which obviously we'll touch on like transfers in future in streams and stuff. We need a left back badly. JC, your thoughts on the game looking back at it?
I'm impressed, if I'm honest, even though we didn't get the points that we wanted from the game. Did we deserve even a point from the game? You could maybe argue with yes, but I think it is what it is, really, with playing against City. We did what we did. We played as best as we could, but the difference in quality just shone through, really, didn't it? I think questionable decisions, whether Ayew's goal should have stood, whether Haaland should have stayed on the pitch. They're all very deciding factors. I watched Sky's, they had that, what's his name? Something Gallagher going through both of the
Dermot Gallagher.
And he made me more confused than I was before watching it. I'm not going to lie to you. He just made it make no sense at all. And then when one of the Sky pundits actually made a very good point for once, and they said, what's the difference between this and Sadio Mane? And he said, the speed that they're running at each other. And you're thinking, what? That make no sense. But
did you hear how rattled he was when he got questioned about it as well?
Yeah. Trying to not show that City bias to the Premier League. But, you know, some days things go for you. Some days they don't go for you. We've had two that haven't gone for us so far in this season, with Edouard's goal a couple of weeks ago and what happened the other day. So we're in the right sort of ratios for some good luck, but I think Haaland just showed his class. I think even though he wasn't sent off, even though he probably should have been, that guy is probably the best goal scorer in the world at this moment in time. I think the fact that he was in the right place at the right time for two of his goals, held off Mark and held off Anderson and Wardy, and still kept the ball at his feet and still slotted it in the bottom corner, just tells me that this guy is going to score bucket loads of goals as long as City can keep him fit. But overall, I'm proud of the performance, and if we can perform like that, there's no reason why we can't do very well this season.
Nate?
Well, much like JC, I mean, it's one of those where you don't want to get too carried away in the result and how things went, because on another day, at 2-0 up, if we held on, maybe got a draw, we'd be sat here thinking that's another solid away point at a not so easy place to go. But I did tweet it out on the Friday where people were saying, "Oh, Palace are City's bogey team and all of this kind of business." And I said, we're not their bogey team. We're just not. Let's be real. And JC, you saw that tweet. I said we've had a pocket of good results against them here and there, but very soon, teams turn it around. Bear in mind, there was a time where Palace fans were going proper cocky playing Liverpool away from home because we'd beaten them in Gerrard's last game and then we beat them the season after that. And I'm thinking, all right, we've done well to get 2 wins back-to-back at Anfield, but we're by no means Liverpool's bogey team. Even though people cling on to Christian Bull, as it were, I'm like, we drew. Can we stop holding on to a draw, please? It's remarkably embarrassing. Obviously, the matter of the defeat on Saturday, it stings because there's question marks on refereeing decisions and VAR. There's question marks on, should this have been done? Should that have been done? But, at the end, their quality just shone through. And unfortunately, we don't play in that ballpark. So I don't quite know what you want people to say. I mean, you can be a bit salty and be like, oh, that's bullshit referees, VAR, But let's not forget, when Schlupp's goal was given as offside against Villa, we got a penalty that wasn't a penalty. So, it goes for you sometimes, it doesn't go, it goes against you sometimes. That's how football's supposed to work. Obviously, if, these decisions favor the bigger teams heavily, but, it could be worse. I mean, let's be fair. Let's not forget, it wasn't that long ago we were annoyed at an Ashley Young penalty given outside of the box, which nowadays can't be given because VAR is there to intervene in that sort of thing. But tough loss to take, but considering we've played Arsenal, Liverpool and City in 3 of our first 4 games, that's so helpful knowing that we've got the hardest games out of the way already. Granted, we have Chelsea and Man United and a few others to play, but let's be real. If you'd have offered us 4 points from our first 4, we would have bitten your hand off because we were expecting to get maybe 3, with Villa being the only game we'd get something from. So I'm not sat here thinking, oh, this is so dead. I was just like, no, it hurts and it sucks that we were 2-0 up and couldn't hold on, but let's be fair. I'm going to use an analogy here. We were that middleweight boxer taking on the heavyweight on Saturday. We worked him in the early rounds, got a few body shots in, tried to wear him down. But by the end of the fight, they took us out clean. We had nothing to... We spent all our energy trying to wear them down with body shots as opposed to trying to go for that knockout. And City just chin checked us and good night, we're out. So that's the best thing I could put towards it. I don't know if you agree with me, JC, but it's hard to kind of be upset when the better team won the game and their quality through. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think that loss was, as I said earlier, was sort of ratios with VARs going for you and VARs going against you. I think that the loss against them was coming as well because I believe that that's the first time we've lost in Manchester in 3 years. I think because we haven't lost to Man United up there for the last 2 seasons because we
lost United last season at Old Trafford.
But it was something like we've only lost once in Manchester in the last couple of years. You think, well, just to not lose in Manchester is incredible for a team like us.
I know what you're saying. Yeah, like going away to Man United or Man City, we were never afraid of them. So yeah, I know what you're saying, but I'm just going to point out we did lose at Old Trafford last season and we've lost on Saturday. But yeah, you're right. Our record in Manchester was alarmingly very good. It's like, how are we going to Manchester and getting hella points out of Manchester? What's going on? We don't do this.
Yeah. So a lot, and L was coming, and L was on the books.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, it was just not our day, and the better team won. There's not much else I can really say about the City game. However, we have got a game which is looking slightly more favourable tomorrow. But these guys are looking good. They're looking very good as well. That's the problem. We want 3 points, but will we get the 3 points? What do you think?
Great. Well, I mean, let's just hope for a goal to start off with, by the way. Thomas Frank knows what he's doing with these guys, man. And I think the biggest thing is if they're able to keep Tony as well, then
I think they will.
They're going to have a very good season ahead of them. They've coped well with, obviously, the loss of Eriksen. and they don't concede many goals. I feel like they may have been disappointed with. So I know the Everton game they should have won, and I think there was one other game that they should have done better and they didn't. Was it Fulham?
It could have been Fulham because that was
Yeah.
a ropey West London derby, and there's a lot of needle between them two.
Yeah. So it shows that if we get at them, we can cause them problems. But then at the same time, Tony's intelligence and Mbowe's pace and strength it's going to be a threat on going the other way. So I'm confident, but it's not a game where it's like, oh my gosh, this is going to be a walk in the park, because it won't be at all.
No, I don't think anyone's going into this game thinking it's going to be a walk in the park, because I think we all know that Thomas Franks, even though he's just come into the Premier League, I'd say he's probably top half managers in the Premier League. I think that he's incredible with how he sets his team up and how he's got that perfect balance of setting up so that you can counter the team, but also setting up so the team has to be afraid of what you can do as well. And I don't think many managers can set up a team like that. But I think we saw that when we played against them. Like in certain paths of play in the early stages of the matches last season, we could see that we got the most play out of them right at the start of the match. But after half time, when he's got in there and he's told them, look, this is what they're doing, you guys need to fix up. Second half was always long against these guys. And remember, it's 2 draws. We didn't beat them. So it's definitely going to be hard. Going to be hard.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I've just looked at the form guide of both teams, so I'll start with ourselves. Lost to Arsenal, as we know. Draw with Liverpool. Beat Villa 3-1 and lost to Man City. So that's 1 win, 1 draw, and 2 defeats. As I said when we were discussing the City game, it's nothing to sniff at, but the manner of the Arsenal defeat, maybe it stings a little bit, but Arsenal were just too good for us on the day, I believe. As for Brentford, they drew 2-2 with Leicester. Obviously, they beat Man United 4-0. They then lost narrowly in the West London derby to Fulham, and they drew with Everton on the weekend in a 1-1 draw at home. And as JC rightly says, there were 2 meetings last season, and last season was the first meeting between the 2 clubs in the top flight of English football, I think, ever, from what I recall, because I don't think we've ever played them in the top flight, even when it was back in the Division 1 days. But yeah, neither side has ever won this fixture, so this is going to be a Premier League classic, ball fest probably. Hopefully it isn't. Hopefully we get the points tomorrow, but you know how it goes. Oh, neither side has lost this fixture, so who's going to take the points today? Usual BT Sport rhetoric. But we played them at Selhurst Park on the 21st of August, and it was a 0-0 draw. I think we hit the bar, and so did they. Rich, would I be right in saying that?
Yeah, I believe so, yeah. And to be fair, they started off pretty strong, and then we grew into the game and, yeah, kind of just cancelled each other out.
And then at the G-Tech Community Stadium, not even the B-Tech Community Stadium, but the G-Tech Community Stadium, as it's now known, it was another 0-0 draw where, from what I recall, we looked head and shoulders behind them. Like, it was not even close as to who wanted it more. And we just managed to hold on and scrape a point in West London. I'm not going to lie. Part of me wants to be confident that we can go and get a result here, but part of me is well aware that if there's ever a game that Palace are known to F up, it's one of these where people would back us to beat a team that's apparently lesser than us, even though Brentford have some quality players on display and they've used the Moneyball principle to great effect to get themselves into this position. Because you look at, they'd sold Watkins, they'd sold Mopai, even though he's a pagan. They've sold so many good players for big money and still been able to recruit smartly, despite the fact that they're not necessarily the most richest of clubs outside of the top 2 divisions of English football in a crowded part of London. Because bear in mind, they've got QPR, Fulham and Chelsea in and around them. Obviously, Chelsea being the richest of the 4. But we need something from this game. I'll take a point. If we get a point in this game, I would gladly take that, but we need all 3. But I want to win. If we get a win, that would be everything. But as JC said, it is not going to be easy. And it wasn't easy in either of these games last season. So just, as I said, they're on the head-to-head. Neither side won. It was 2 0-0 draws and an eye on the opposition. Well, we know who to look out for in this team because This guy's moving mad. Ivan Toney. The disrespect is mad.
We need to start keeping quiet, man.
I remember when they came up into the Premier League and everyone was doubting, is he going to do it in the Premier League? We see many strikers do it in the Champ and not in the Prem. But this guy's made the jump look seamless. Really has. I wouldn't say that he's hit that same sort of goal scoring form as he did in the Championship, but he's still someone to be feared as a centre back. And if you're seeing Ivan Toney on that team sheet and you're a centre back, it's a long day for you. You can already tell.
Absolutely. I think they'll play on the counter, which means we have to be clinical. We're going to have to be clinical because it'll be similar to the Villa game. And like I said, we just have to make sure we take our chances because unlike Villa, when they break with quality. Like they're very... They may not have to say like name for name the better players, but what they do with purpose, and there's intent and there's a willingness to want to play well. If they do try to play in the front for tomorrow night, their press, and that's how it sounds mad, but I'm hoping they do press us because then Anderson can just play those long diagonals and stuff to bypass it, and I think that's where we'll get our space. Personally, but yeah, it'd be very interesting to see. But once again, it sounds so cliche. This midfield battle is key. The midfield battle is key for me personally.
I think the midfield is probably the most important place to control during any football match, whether that's against a big team or a team around us. Because if you can control the middle of the park, even if they're in possession, they can't get close to your goal because you control the middle of the park, unless they hit that diag. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't know any Brentford players off the top of my head that can ping a pass.
Norgard's pretty decent.
Yeah, but I know he's one guy, but we've got multiple. You know what I mean? You got Eze, you got Decore, you got Gay, you got Anderson, you got people who can do it. If someone else is under pressure, they can find someone else. But if they've only got one guy that can pass long, and Brentford fans, if you're watching, I'm not cussing your players, I just don't know enough about your team, unfortunately. But yeah, I think that they won't. I think that they will come through and definitely play on the counter, just because of how much we've made that transition into a ball-playing team now. I don't think that we'd want to give up all that work just to play one game on the counter-attack. I just don't see that happening. I think we've got the quality, we've got the players to win, so I don't see why Vieira won't go back to his 4-3-3 and do what we did and hopefully pick up from where we left off last season.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I guess we could go into the guest combined 11 actually. So reached out and I want to say thank you to her game to Brentford. I hope I've got that correct. Let me just make sure. Yes, her game to Brentford FC. Ali from her game to Brentford sent in a combined 11. And yeah, I guess we'll look at it and we'll chop it up. So let me make sure I put this on big screen so I can make sure I can see myself. In goal, Raya. Right back is Aaron Hickey, I believe his name is. Centre backs of Anderson and Gay. And the left is Rico Henry. Midfield three of Norgard, Jensen and Eze. Front three, Wolf on the left. And Buemo on the right. And Ivan Toney up top. Thoughts?
Isn't Rico Henry injured?
Well, when she sent it to me, she based it on those who are fit. So,
well, yeah, she probably knows more about her team than we do.
Yeah.
I think. Can you put it up again? No, you're just forcing it. You're forcing it at this point. I think, in my very professional opinion, if Mitchell is fine, I think Mitchell goes in for Henry. I think that Norgard should go where Jensen is, and Decore should go where Norgard is.
Yeah.
Apart from that, I would stick with that. I think as long as we're all agreeing that Elise is still coming back from injury and that he's not fully ready yet, I'm fine with that team with the changes with Mitchell in for Henry, Decore for Norgard, and Norgard for Jensen. That's what I would do.
Yeah, you know what? I can't really argue with that. To be fair, can't really argue with that. And such. Your thoughts, Nate?
Well, luckily she didn't put Guaita in goal because I'd have to question her sanity if that was the case. But credit to her for picking an actually competent Spanish goalkeeper. Aaron Hickey at right back. I don't really know much about him. I've briefly watched Serie A and he did quite okay at, I believe it was Bologna last season. I could be wrong. Or maybe it was Cagliari, but I can't remember off the top of my head. But I've no issue with that because as much as I love Natty Klein and Joe Ward, they're on the wrong side of their 30s. So kind of hard to play a younger player who's got more pace and more energy. So that's understandable. But yeah, pretty much what I'm going to just mirror what JC said, really, because there's not much in it now because obviously we're not sure if Zaha is going to be making it for this game. I don't think I've seen Vieira's presser yet, so I'll have to go back and watch that. But you know, Brentford, like a lot of people like to put too big a gap between the so-called lesser teams in the Prem, of which they include Brentford. I'm thinking, no, don't do that, because that just motivates them to want to prove you more wrong. But,
the gap is closing as well.
Listen, you got to remember, a few years ago, if you said to a Brentford fan, you'll be in the Premier League in the next 5-6 years, and you'll get a massive scalp at home to Manchester United, beating them 4-0. They'd call you mad. They'd say, what are you smoking?
And your first game in the Prem, you'll beat Arsenal 2-0 at home.
You know what I mean?
You just wouldn't say, you wouldn't believe it.
No, and it's the same with us. If somebody had said to you at Wembley in 2013, you're going to have 10 seasons of Premier League football and counting, hopefully, touch wood, we'd say, Palace, 10 seasons of Premier League football. I don't know if you're doing a FIFA career mode, my guy, or something, but that's not what we do. We go up and then we go down. We're roller coaster FC. It's what we do. That or we go almost bust. But, you know, football is so unpredictable that this is no easy game. And you don't want it to be an easy game. Like a lot of people will look at that Liverpool scoreline there on Saturday and say, oh my God, that was an easy game. Bournemouth just had nothing to answer because Liverpool's quality shone through. And now you look at that result and you say, you know what? A point at Anfield? I'm not knocking it, because that could have been us. And we know how it feels to be smacked by Liverpool. So, I'm not on this, we should have got more at Liverpool. No, I'm happy with a point at this rate. Seeing them put 9 past Bournemouth. No way in hell. But yeah, no, I think it's a decent combined 11. Obviously, she's going to be a bit more biased towards her own players. That's understandable. I don't think we'd put many Brentford players in our team, apart from maybe the goalkeeper and Tony. Maybe in Brumo if we don't play Elise there. So I'm not shocked to see she's put more Brentford players in there, but it must have hurt her to put Eze in there being a former QPR boy. That must have been a bit hard for her to do because I wouldn't have done that if that was me.
Spot on. Imagine we had Ivan Tony though. The difference it would make.
Put it this way: if you don't put Tony Watkins over Ayew, it'd just be a mad thing. It'd be like, yo, and give us like say Max Aarons over Wardy and Klein. It'd be even better. But obviously, I don't know. I mean, kind of crazy. But we shall see.
100%. What's next on the agenda?
Guess predictions.
Lovely. So let's just update you with obviously the predictions league. This has been tweeted out, but in case you haven't seen it, these were the scores last week. Dan's doing a madness,
Yeah, I might have to start copying Dan, you know.
Dan is doing he's consistently getting just high numbers. You know.
Yeah, Nicky's having a mare.
It's not looking good.
Run the clip, please. Run the clip.
Actually, run it now.
Big man thing, yeah. It's not looking good, Bev. It's not looking good.
Then again, though, 1 week can change everything.
That's the thing. But you know what's mad? His gap between him and Dan that's 2 weeks worth of fixtures. So you don't really want to be dropping off too far.
But if Nicky pulls up a madness the next 2 game weeks,
yeah,
it opens up again. And the fact that Rich is only 2 off Dan, I'm 5 off Dan, and JC's 6. You see how close it is?
It's
and
close.
The guests are a little bit like they're wobbling a little bit.
Well, think about it. If someone has like a rago week, where they just predict the opposite to everyone else, but they get the results right, mate, they leapfrog everyone pretty much.
Mad. So think about it, 10 games. It's 10 games. Imagine if you get 10 correct scores. That's 30 points.
Yeah, and then everyone else gets 0. That's mad.
Then you're just ghosting ahead. It's just like, whee!
Yeah, like Nicky could just pull an absolute blinder and then just smoke everyone by 20 points next week.
Did you know what it's like? It's like if you get the star in Mario Kart. You just take off and everybody else is just let all the bullet bill. You're just leaving people in the dust. You're like,
100%.
See ya.
So this is the league table. Dan's obviously top. He's got 5 total correct scores.
He's smashing it. David Lee as well.
David Lee's doing bits as well, to be fair to him.
Vibes.
You know who surprised me? Vibes. And I think he missed week 1 as well. So fair play to him. He's doing bits. And then obviously you get those who just forget to do their scores, or they may have given up after 1 week and stuff. I don't think Bobby's just going to change. I might have to message him personally and say, are you still doing it?
Because otherwise, disqualified.
Yeah, it's just looking a bit peak and stuff.
Man's going to be at the end of the season with 5 points.
And finally, in the relegation places, we have...
Yo, it's on ropes for Grizz, boy.
Grizz is in trouble, you know. Because
he's in proper trouble.
It's mad. I wonder if we should. We'll think about it and we'll discuss it. Maybe if we invite them to do the reception for the home and away game, so they've got 2 opportunities for the guests.
Yeah, I think that's fair because he needs a redemption arc.
He needs some sort. It's not looking good.
Run the clip. Run it back. Run it back. Run it back.
I agree.
Big man thing, yeah. It's not looking good, Bev. It's not looking good.
But like, I'm still surprised at Cecil, man. He smashed it on the first week.
And you know what? He was so close to getting like 3 correct scores.
Yeah.
I think there was like some late goals in some of them and such. So, coming up to this week, obviously, please make sure, the deadline's gone. Predictions obviously in the Discord. But we managed to get Ali to do her predictions on behalf of Brentford. So she has said Palace Brentford 1-1, Fulham Brighton 1-1, Southampton versus Chelsea 3-1 to Chelsea, Leeds 3, Everton 0, Arsenal 3, Villa 1, Bournemouth 1, Wolves 2, Man City 4, Forest 1, West Ham 1, Spurs 2, Liverpool 3, Newcastle 2, and Leicester 0, Man United 2. So those are the predictions for this week. Which brings us nicely to a quick bit of transfer chat.
Boy, heating up, getting closer to the window, and some stuff has got some traction, other stuff does not. So we'll go in order that Rich has wrote it down. Aaron Wan-Bissaka, deal's heating up. looking more and more likely. However, Man United don't want to sell and they don't want to loan because they want to keep at least 2 fullbacks for every position, and probably rightly so because every club needs 2 fullbacks. And I'm leaving that as a little dig because I've been saying this for ages. Or we need a backup left back, and finally, Rich is starting to agree with me.
Yeah.
JC, just to clarify, Rich didn't write that. I did. I was thinking, wait, I could have sworn that was me that wrote that.
Well, you went to go eat your burger, bruv. Come on.
Why is Rich getting credit for my work? This is some BS.
Yeah, you're in the backstage, bro. Come on now. Anyway.
But yeah, I think I had read reports that that United don't want to sell at this stage because I don't think they can get
a
replacement. However, there's also been like reports saying that they're looking to do a swap with Sergio Dest from Barcelona.
Yes, that I think that if anything, that's the deal that's probably going to happen because it's not. I wouldn't say it's like for like, but it is player for player because both of the players are players that the current team that they're at don't want. Yeah. So that's sort of the main thing that's driving that deal home.
But then I guess our Barcelona are going to be the type that want money for Dest instead because obviously they're cash strapped that bad.
Well, put it this way, they can't sign on.
They're spending more money than anybody else, bruv.
Well, I agree with that, but they do need the money because I've heard that they can't register Koundé because they haven't because the books don't balance properly. So they bought Koundé for like 60 million, but they might have to let him go as a free agent in the same window. So he might be a free agent still by Thursday, which is actually I think that'll be the first time it's ever happened to a footballer that they've been bought and released in the same transfer window before the window's even closed yet. But for Wan-Bissaka, I'd love it to happen. I just don't see it happening. And also, we've got Wardy, we've got Klein, and Richards can play out there, so it's not an absolute necessity. It would be nice, but it's not a necessity right now.
Absolutely.
Moving on to Conor Gallagher. Apparently, no proper reputable sources, but apparently we've bidded 27 million plus add-ons, which has been rejected by Chelsea. After the rejection happened, apparently we upped our bid to 30, which has also been rejected. But Chelsea don't want to sell, and they are open to loaning him again. And Conor Gallagher himself is apparently open to being loaned out as well. I'd hope that if he wanted to be loaned out, he would choose us over West Ham because it's us and West Ham which are in for him. However, West Ham are in Europe, so that's probably their more pulling power, and they can probably offer him slightly more wages than us as well. I think loaning him.
They have just signed Paqueta though.
Yes, that is very true. But I think they're slightly different kind of players though. I think Paqueta's more of like a 10, and Gallagher's more of an 8. Oh, not an 8. Was it 6? I can't remember what the numbers are, man.
Yeah, more of a box to box.
Yeah, so he's not. So it's 2 new players for 2 different positions. So it would still make sense for West Ham, but I think if he goes to West Ham, he knows he's going to be holding bench at some points in the season. Whereas with us, he knows he's playing all game, every game, as long as he's fit. I think loaning him is probably the best thing for both parties. It's going to suck to let him go again.
Yeah, that's my only qualm about it. But at this late stage, if we can't sign him, then I'll take a loan. I know I don't want it, but we need a midfielder. And if we're not going to buy one,
we haven't used up our loans fully for the last couple of years, actually. So I think it would be nice to actually use up our whole loan allocation for once. So maybe whether that be Gallagher and Wan-Bissaka on loan, then I'm not complaining really. Strengthen our team. Maybe we could do very well next season, and then because of how well we did, we sign them up the next season after. So, it's all up in the air. Put in the comments what you guys think about us getting Gallagher and Wan-Bissaka. I'll let you guys take Sarr because I've put my opinions on Sarr out there. He's not needed as long as Zaha is at the club. If Zaha's not,
agreed.
then we need him.
Agreed. We've got to look at it, and I'm going to touch on Sarr and Zaha at the same time, because had Sarr come in, then I would be like, all right, if we lose Wilf, we've already got the cover, if that makes sense. If Sarr is not coming to the club, we have to keep Zaha. That is as simple as that, and risk obviously losing him on a free, to be honest. What would have been great is if we got Sarr, Zaha still stayed. We said, listen, we're going to agree for you to leave next summer for free, but at least we've got a year of Sarr to get bedded in, and you're still here. We are running a very thin line with this window. We could end this window very thin on the ground, and it's quite nerve-wracking at the moment.
But at the same time, we could end this window with
Very
having a lot of depth in everywhere as well. Because think about it, even though some things have gone quiet, it's not out of the realm. Like Alwar could still be a possibility because of Textor. So anything can happen really. So it's just a matter of waiting and refreshing and joining us on Thursday at 10 p.m.
Yeah. Don't watch Sky Sports News. Keep it locked to Eagle Eye Football for deadline day.
Tell him.
But we're not wearing no yellow ties, people. We're throwing that tradition out the window straight away.
No, I'll wear a tie. I'll wear a tie.
All right.
On that note,
old tie from work, I might wear that one.
just lastly on Sarr, a certain publication has reported that Wolf has.
I got this one. This is a banger of a tie. You see that? Jeez.
Now, just saying, a certain publication has reported that Zaha has handed a transfer request.
Oh no! That if you just saw that on Twitter, it's a 2019 article. You just got
I just thought it would be like. I didn't read it. I just thought, that doesn't make sense. I just thought I'll just read it out.
That's just somebody trying to cause absolute chaos.
Yeah,
and it wouldn't make any sense to hand in a transfer request with 1 year left in your contract anyway.
That guy's just stat padding likes.
And I've already seen he's taken a few L's from certain fans, including female fans. It's like, this is why you rehash old headlines, because people actually spot it going, that's the 2019 kit. What's going on there? Do you know what I mean? It's like people aren't stupid. Some people still have that kit. It's like, no, but just quickly, Sarr would have loved to bring him in just to pee off Watford, because obviously they were still peed off that Hughes has come to a proper club. Got to get that in there. Zaha, look, as Rich said, I'd rather lose him on a free and not give Man United 25% of the money, because agendas have to run. Apparently, Zaha wasn't as good as Januzaj. Yana who? Nah, not having it. But yeah, listen, knowing Palace, it wouldn't be deadline day without an absolute mad team just flying off the wall, because the fact that it's so quiet with Palace right now is a good thing. Because if we're hearing about we're linked to X, Y, Z, A, B, C, D, all the way back across the alphabet, we're thinking we're signing none of these guys. The fact that we're hearing nothing means, right, work is being done, and it's been done very much, kept a lid on it. Because remember, anytime we looked at a player, West Ham were in. Straight away. Palace want him, we're taking him. Now it's like, oh, who are Palace going for? Nobody? Oh, okay, we'll have to try and find our own targets there. I'm just so happy we're not scouting other clubs' teams anymore. It's like, yo, what we do? What's going on? But we'll see. But JC, let's give us your 11 for this game. Who would you start in this game?
Okay. We'll go goalkeeper, and then we'll go for the rest of that. So I'd start John Stone, which is probably a slightly left field shout. Then I'd go Mitchell, as long as he's fit.
If not,
Klein at left back.
Okay.
So Mitchell, Gay, Anderson, Klein. But if Mitchell's injured, then I'll go Klein, Gay, Anderson, Richards.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, no, scrap that. Ward, not Richards. Ward, he's been playing very well at right back and just in general.
So would you
Mid,
revert to a 4 or a 5 at the back?
I'd go to a 4, 100% a 4. So Wardy actually plays proper right back. Then in midfield, I would play Decore as the sitter. Then I play probably Schlapp and Eze in a 10. Then I play Zaha. I think I'll definitely play Zaha on one wing, Ayew on the other wing. But through the middle is tough because Edouard's link-up play is incredible, but Mateta's goal-scoring ability is nuts as well. I would start Edouard and do a similar thing to what we did against Villa, where you bring on Mateta when everyone's tired and you got a big guy running very fast and can score goals. I think that's
And
what
he's
I did.
clumsy, and his limbs are proper clumsy, so the defenders can't know how to read his body.
Yeah, so I think start Edouard and then bring on Mateta later. I think that's how I would set up.
Okay, let's go with Rich's 11, and then we'll start with mine. We'll finish with my 11.
I would actually keep VG in goal. I feel he hasn't done anything wrong. But obviously, in time, we know that Johnson's going to be a number 1. But I'll keep VG. I agree with Klein, Anderson, Gay, and Mitchell. If Mitchell's not fit, Klein go left back, Wood go right back. Same midfield 3. I know a lot of people are calling for Hughes to come in, but I think Schlapp's he's going to be needed for this game.
His pace,
yeah. And same wingers, Zaha and Ayew. Just got to ease Elise back into it because we can't have him get injured again in the season. Just ease him back in. And I would actually start Mateta just for the physicality side to it. I know like they've got, is it Ben Mee and who's the other centre back? That's going to bug me. I can't remember. But I think he'll just be a bit more awkward for them. And just in case we do need to run him behind, and Edouard doesn't do that, and then he doesn't have the pace, which is a bit awkward. But yeah, I'll go Mateta.
Well, one thing I want to do on my 11 quick. If Zaha's injured, then I'm playing Edouard on the left, and Mateta through the middle.
Top. Yeah,
because Zaha's still a big question mark right now.
Yeah,
that's a shot.
Well, with that in mind, obviously we don't know about Mitchell, or have we heard anything about him? Because I haven't been paying attention to social media. Have we heard anything about Mitchell, or has that been kept?
That's all very, very hush-hush, so we have no clue.
Okay, fair enough. So in the event that Mitchell's fit, he starts at left back, Klein at right back, Anderson and Mark Gay centre-backs, goalkeeper. I'm sort of agreeing with you, JC, in trying to put Sam Johnston in there. See, is he an upgrade? Is he the goalkeeper that we've been crying out for?
I definitely see him as an upgrade because when we saw him, even though it was against Oxford, he commanded his area and he was fast off his line. And those are the main options because VG is not any of those, unfortunately.
Neither is Butland either. Mm-hmm. However, I do like the fact that Guaita is a dependable shot stopper, albeit, as you say, he's not the fastest off his line, which is a bit of a concern. But let's be real, we had to contend with Wayne Hennessy when Guaita came in, so he was obviously going to be an upgrade on Wayne Hennessy. Thank God those days are over. Poor Nottingham Forest. What on earth possessed them to sign this guy? I don't know. But midfield, it's got to be Decore. I mean, who else am I going to put in there? Milivojevic? Even though Lucas played well the last couple of games. Don't get me wrong. I think Lucas played very well the last couple of games. But it's got to be Decore. I'd be mad to not say this guy. He is just quality. And much like Rich, I can only see Schlapp and Eze in that midfield because even though Schlapp at centre mid isn't really my go-to first choice, I do see why he's playing there because he's not dislodging Zaha on the left. If Elise eventually comes back into the fold, you know, Elise is left-footed as well. So Schlapp at centre mid with his pace and his ball-carrying ability, it suits us perfectly. So I put them in there. And then the front three, provided he's fit, will start. Of course, if he doesn't, I would probably throw the curveball and start Malcolm. Purely because why not? You know, it's not a case of we're stuck for wingers now, or we've got to find Fraser Campbell from the depths of hell to play him. we've got these quality players for a reason. So let's see what they can do. Bear in mind, he had a fantastic game against, admittedly, lower league opposition in Oxford. But we signed him to give him the platform to play in the Prem. So why not unleash him on Premier League defences and say, yo, Zaha, mate, see you later. There's a player there. Obviously, it's early days. He's only just come up from the Championship, but it could prove to be a masterstroke. It could prove to be a disaster. But if we don't try, we won't know. So I'd play Malcolm on the left, Ayew on the right, because that guy's ability to win fouls is unbelievable. And I'm not having this Ayew agenda, people. I mean, like I said, if you look at some of the players we've had play for us on the right in recent years, apart from Andros Townsend, it's a who's who of, oh dear mother of God, what were we thinking? Jimmy Kebe, looking at you. And also Barry Bannon. I remember Barry Bannon playing right mid for us at one point. I was like, why have we got a Scottish hobbit playing for us at right mid? What are we doing? Is there a game plan here, or are we just sticking any man in the team? Because we could get my man from the half away at the back who's screaming abuses about Barry Bannon to play if that's the case. But I would probably keep Edouard in because he's actually looking like he's bothered this season, which is a surprise because he went missing very quickly last season after his debut against Tottenham. But I also want to see more of Mateta because he looks like he wants to give Edouard every bit of a battle for that number 9 shirt. So it's a great predicament to be in, boys. Because remember, not that long ago, we had to put Zaha and Townsend up top and play MacArthur as a right mid. It's like, what are we doing? Like, surely we've got some Donnies from the academy we can stick on the right and the left. Why are we playing 2 centre mids as wingers? What is going on? But yeah, man, I'm looking forward to tomorrow's game. I'm doing a watch along for it. And obviously, as the banner says there below me, leave your lineups and predictions in the comment section. And you can find Rich and JC opposite the fan zone at the main stand to have your say at full time. I think we've covered everything. Or is there anything you boys want to add before we go back?
No, I think we've covered it all, yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
All right, well, there's only one thing left to say, people. Knock up the Palace, and we'll see you tomorrow for the game.
Up the Palace.
The Palace.
Eagles. Eagles.